It's Sunday in South Carolina. Welcome to the Touchdowns podcast presented by Harrison Williamson Cross Country Mortgage. We're beating a dead horse, Thomas. It's over and over and over again that these teams specifically are dominant, or the three men's dominant sports that take up most of the fans' mind share. We continue to struggle, and we're coming on to record this podcast shortly after the game went final over in Pickens. Clemson beat us 7-2 today. They beat us 4-1 yesterday after we got the 7-0 win on Friday night. And I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think Paul Mainieri, the experiment's over. It wasn't even really an experiment. It was Ray Tanner getting one last lick out of the South Carolina athletic department for his buddy. And I don't know that really anyone thought it was a great hire when it happened. It is looking way worse than anyone even thought it was when it did happen. I mean, this team is now 7-5, including losses to Northern Kentucky, Army, who hadn't beaten a Power 4 team since 2022, Queens College, who hadn't beaten a Power 4 team ever, and now we drop a series to our arch rival after we beat the shit out of them on Friday night. And I'm not going to lie, I love to see the emotion out of the guys on Friday night. I didn't really care for what Bakic was saying about they were celebrating like they won the World Series. I loved the emotion that they were showing, but you gotta follow that up with winning the series. Like, you fist pumped and Valentin, the closer, he kind of mocked the Clemson dugout once he got the save after the final strikeout. And like I said, I love that, but you got to follow that up. This team is inconsistent. They were flashing a stat today during the game. We've made an error in 10 out of 12 games so far. We're not good in the field. We're supposed to be good. The lineup was supposed to be stout. That was the one thing we were hanging our hats on going into the year. It's like, all right, we're going to be able to hit. Can the pitching, match the hitting? I mean, we got a 78 pitch complete game performance out of Clemson's pitcher on Saturday. We couldn't hit at all today, except for, Harmon had the one RBI single with 2 outs, and that put us up 2-0. We immediately come out in the bottom half of that inning, make mistakes on the mound, give them base runners, and they load up the bases, and so we still have a chance to get out of it. We got the guy in an 0-2 hole, and we throw a wild pitch, over the catcher's head, and we're giving them runs and momentum. And I don't know what clearly, every time I saw Paul Mainieri on the screen, I wanted to stab my eyes out. Like him waddling to the mound to do the pitching change. Great feel for the game. That guy gives up 2 runs. Like, our starter, and God damn it, I'm blanking on his name because I'm mad right now. But before the game, the plan was he could throw 80 pitches, and he had thrown 50, and it was a 2-2 ball game. Yes, he had just put the leadoff guy on base in the inning, but let him work through that. Like, you call the reliever's number, he gives up 2 runs in that inning, and then Clemson didn't look back after that. Just like, it's pitiful what our program's become, and I think we need to fire Mainieri immediately. We talked about it he's old and we don't have time. He was supposed to win immediately. And if he's not winning, he's not even competing. Like, we look awful. Well, and so I don't care. Pay the buyout. I'll put up the first $100 to pay his buyout.
That's
like,
the
get
most
him going.
The most ironic part about the situation that we're in with baseball is that the whole concept of hiring Mainieri, like, he was already retired. We brought him out of retirement. We brought him off the couch to come back. So if the plan had gone perfectly, we would still be hiring a coach in the next year or two anyways. Like, the whole point was, he's going to get the program humming again. He's going to inject, energy back into the program, and then we're going to be able to hire another coach to keep the train going after it's in a more stable, smooth position. And it has been the exact opposite of that. He's found a way to make us even worse. As far as, firing him immediately and paying the buyout, I'm still on the fence about that. I mean, it's pathetic. I don't think that there's any way we don't end up firing him, but I'm kind of still at the juncture of, is this how we want to spend our money?
No, cut ties, spend the money. Like I said, I'll put up the first $100 and let's grassroots it, because I think there's enough pissed off. I don't know. There's enough pissed off people because, again, baseball is the one program where we've tasted the spoils of victory. And people have seen it and been on that ride. And those College World Series runs were incredible. When you look back at some of those performances, and, Michael Roth, he lives up here in Greenville. He's still a legend. I know he's from here too, but people know Michael Roth and those guys, Scott Wingo and Whit Merrifield and those guys from those runs. And they kind of laid the foundation, and then it's all washed away. We're getting further and further from, just like how you and I feel like we're getting older. Like, we were in late high school, early college during that run. And,
right.
And we talk about how long ago it was when we were in college. And so those glory years are only getting further and further away. And so we have to right the ship, and it's not going to be Paul Mainieri that's going to do it. And frankly, like I said, I think Ray just hit a lick on us. He got his boy a cush deal. If it went well, Ray's like, yay, like, look what I did. And on my way out, I called up my boy and he got the program right. And it's going the opposite, but Ray's still winning. Paul Mainieri's still winning, but Gamecock fans aren't. And it's bullshit, and the fans deserve better. It was awesome on Friday that the fans that stayed through the weather delay, and apparently it was an awesome atmosphere, and we whooped ass and gave them.
I do want to touch on that. I too, love the emotion. I think that, a coach saying that us celebrating a win against a rival we were acting like it was the World Series. It's like, no, dude, it's a rivalry, and we just shut y'all out at home. But to your point, there does have to be more follow through than that. I mean, it just makes us look like the asshole that, we follow that up with, 3 runs over the next 2 games. And I don't necessarily think the pitching was the problem on Saturday, to your point, and shout out Hicks. We were at Segra Park, courtesy of our sponsor, and it was a quick game, and to your point, you said that we really threw one bad pitch, and that was the difference in the game. I don't think that the pitching on Saturday was why we lost. We had no offense, man. We didn't even put any pressure on them. And then today, I was listening to some of it on the radio as I was going about my day, and a couple different times I heard that we stranded runners. So it's just, if you're giving them free runs and then you're not bringing people home when they're on base, like that's just a recipe for a loss. And yeah, I mean, I like when we talk shit in every sport. I like emotion. I think that is what continues to make college athletics different from professional athletics, even with the introduction of money. Like, you're still representing your school and your peers, and there's a difference between you and I having gone to the University of South Carolina and these players being enrolled there, whether they're a transfer or not, and like growing up in Pittsburgh and supporting the Steelers. Like, we're a part of the entity, but you gotta play, you gotta show up. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, we're bad at everything right now, except for women's basketball. Shout out the ladies. Shout out Dawn. The pillar of consistency and excellence. But
I mean, the baseball, like, we deserve. I mean, we deserve better in general, but we seriously need to look at baseball as something that I think I think it's a different conversation than men's basketball with Lamont. We've talked extensively about where his buyout sits, and
it's definitely more affordable than Lamont. And yeah, so if you're gonna have to make a move on one of those two this year, it's baseball.
I think you have to make a move this year. Like, Donati can't sit on his hands. We're about to get. I mean, we won 6 games in SEC play last year in baseball. Shout out to the Cajun Cousins. 6 games in baseball last season. We probably are going to win a similar amount. We might be in the single digits again in SEC play this year. Like, I'm over this team. I'm not watching this team. I'm sorry about it.
And that's another thing. How can you watch this team? Like, it's so hard to watch college baseball. Thankfully, I had someone at TD's Friday night log into his personal ESPN Plus account, and so it was on one of the TVs. I, for the life of me, can't understand why the SEC network exists as a cable channel and we can't get any men's college baseball games. College baseball is like the hardest sport to find on TV out of anything. And it baffles me that it's.
You need the ESPN app, which is one of the worst apps in the history of apps.
I'm not getting Peacock. I'm not getting Paramount. Like, I already have like 7 things to show sports between my home and the bar, and I just refuse to get any more logins to be able to watch games. Like, you have to. I'm drawing a line in the sand. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like, we haven't gotten anything out of non-conference. We drop another series to Clemson, and the SEC is stacked per usual. So, like, what is there to, like, really kind of hang your hat on, or yeah, if the batting is supposed to be the strength of our team, we're in.
I mean, it's almost like it's the same thing as the preseason basketball scouting report. Oh, this team's built to shoot the three ball, and we can't shoot the three ball. Like this was supposed to be a good offense that if the pitching could survive,
it's like
offense would carry. And
it's like we're those teams where it's like, oh, we're gonna score 50 points, but we're gonna let up, 40. But like at least you get to watch a fun offense. We don't even we lose in everything, and we don't even have something that we do well enough that you can enjoy okay, we can't hit, but if we had, stud pitchers and we're watching a pitching duel every single week, every single game, and you get to sweat a 2-1 victory or a 2-1 loss, I can get behind that. We just lose in every phase on both sides. Like there's nothing redeemable about either of these sports. Like it's crazy. At least in football, our defense was good. We could watch we would get a bomb a couple times every once in a while.
I mean,
it's demoralizing.
Baseball deserves better. We deserve better in all aspects, but I'm really out on Paul Mainieri. Fire him today for all I care, and I got $100 to go to the fund to get him gone. And good for you, Ray Tanner. Good for you, Paul Mainieri. Y'all worked over South Carolina fans and South Carolina athletics department. So hopefully Paul Mainieri takes his old ass to the beach and enjoys himself. And he's a legendary coach. I don't know why he wanted to come back, but Ray talked him into it, and I think
Ray gave him $2 million a year with a fucking $4 million buyout.
But get him gone. Go get me Landon Powell. Go get me Coach Williams from Coastal Carolina. Like, I mean, it's sickening what's happening with the baseball program, and yeah, I'm gonna be tuned out. And call me a fair weather fan, whatever you want, but I don't see this team doing anything this season. I think we'll get crushed in SEC play, and yeah, so that sucks. And moving on to another shitty squad, our basketball team. 2 L's this week. We played Kentucky earlier in the week. Shout out to Logan Wyndham, winner of the Hughley Insurance ticket giveaway. The boys, Logan and the boys, did attend the game and saw a close one, but pretty much a microcosm of this entire season. Slushy Mike 2.0 hits a 3 to cut it to a 2-point game with about 3.5 minutes left. And then I don't think we hit the rim for the next 2 minutes. Not that we didn't make a shot. I don't even think we hit the rim for the next 2 minutes. Kentucky goes on a 9-0 run. That's the game. We got smoked by Georgia and Athens on Saturday. We were out at Segra Park. So we didn't watch that game, but I was checking the score periodically while we were at Segra, and it was never competitive. Yeah, not much more to say about basketball that we haven't already said. This team is 5-30 in the calendar years of 2025 and 2026. This team is 5-39 against Power 4 competition.
I can't remember if I've already brought this tweet up, but like, I'm always on Twitter. I come across all sorts of stuff, and there is this guy doing bracketology. He's projecting like who he thinks would be a good sleeper team for his bracket based off of offensive rebound metrics. And essentially the concept of the graph was teams that offensive rebound really, really well they give up more points in transition because they're crashing the glass. Whereas teams that are really, really good with transition defense, get less offensive rebounds because they're getting back on defense. They're not crashing the glass as hard. And then he was highlighting teams that do both really well. And he was saying, here's an interesting group of teams that could give you an edge in the tournament because they are asymmetric in that they are able to offensive rebound really, really well, and they have good transition defense. And then way down in the corner of teams that give up tons of points in transition and don't offensive rebound well at all is us. And we're completely alone by ourselves. And he wasn't covering us at all. The only reason that it registered with me is because I'm a South Carolina fan. But it's of course that's us. The team that is supposed to be a great 3-point shooting team, I can get why we may not get as many offensive rebounds, but we're also one of the worst transition defense teams in the country. It's just, I don't even know where I'm going with that. I guess I'm just that's the only thing that there is to say about the men's basketball team is how bad they are, and that is a way that we are bad. That, mathematically.
It's just one graph that illustrates
right
how shitty we are. There's plenty of other graphs that could show how terrible we are. So sometimes the numbers in the eye test, the data in the eye test don't agree, but I think it's safe to say with this team, everyone sees it with their own eyes, and then you have the data to back it up. But it is a depressing time to be a Gamecock fan, and an even more depressing time to be a Gamecock podcast, because this is not
misery loves company. I think that people can relate to us now, but when we start winning, I'm gonna be I'm a great loser. I'm a terrible winner. I'm gonna make some enemies when we're good.
Yeah,
I'm an obnoxious, unforgiving, unrelenting winner because I don't win that much.
Yeah, we sure as shit don't. But Dawn, like you mentioned, Dawn and the girls, another good week for them. They beat Kentucky today on the road. Kentucky's number 16 in the country. The ninth win against AP Top 25 for Dawn and the girls. They have locked in the SEC regular season championship, the 1 seed for the tournament up here in Greenville next weekend. So that'll be exciting. I'm going to be out of town for a wedding. Friday, we both will Friday, Saturday, but might see if I can swing a game. I don't know if we're going to play Thursday because I think we get a double bye, but I think the championship's Sunday, so I might try and go out to that if I can. But yeah, again, it's similar on the women's side for Dawn. It's there's nothing really more to say other than they're kicking ass and taking care of business, and look forward to seeing them go in the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. So,
so we can talk about that. We can talk about. I mean, I know that we're business as usual. Are there any unusual adversaries this year? I mean, is it a inevitable crash course to UConn again?
Yeah, I mean, UConn.
We lost to Texas. We lost to Oklahoma within the SEC. Who are the other relevant programs around
the projected one seeds are in order: UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, Texas.
Okay. So we've already seen one of the top 4 seeds. So, I mean, I expect nothing less than the Final Four, and I wouldn't be shocked if, on Championship Sunday it's us and UConn again.
Yeah. So go Dawn, go Lady Gamecocks. Let's talk some football. Specifically, NFL Combine happened this past weekend. We had 4 participants in the Combine: Jalon Kilgore, Brandon Cisse at defensive back, Nick Barrett, defensive tackle, and Rahsul Faison at running back. Kilgore did awesome. He ran really well in the 40. I think his first run was 4.42, and his second run was 4.4 flat. So he had in this RAS ranking, however they rank at the scouting combine, Nicky Mainieri was a 10 out of 10. It looks at size, speed, explosion, and other testing. So it's strictly an athletic testing, on a scale of 1 to 10. Jalon's graded out as a 9.97. So he had elite speed. He had good size and then elite explosion. So Brandon Cisse didn't run the 40, but he competed in the explosion, vertical jump and broad jump, and he tested extremely well in those. I don't know if maybe he's waiting till pro day to run the 40. And he wanted to put more work into the 40 and didn't want to run it at the combine. I'm sure that there's a whole agents and coaches and inner circles that advise these guys on what drills they should do. Nick Barrett performed well. He was good across the board in speed, size, and explosion. He graded out at an 8.65 out of 10. So I'm excited. I think we're looking at 2 definitely top 50 picks in Kilgore and Cisse, and that's just another feather in the cap of Torian Gray. Keep pushing DBU. This guy he just churns out NFL guys in our defensive backfield. It's been really impressive, and we saw it with Nicky Mainieri. He was, as a rookie, one of the best defensive players on the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network draft expert, also is projecting Brandon Cisse to the Seahawks at the end of the first round. So that would be exciting for him to link back up with Nicky Mainieri. I guess they didn't play together, but it would be cool to see them on the same defense in Seattle. And yeah, I'm excited. I want to keep putting guys in the NFL. We grew up without an NFL team, so we always just cheered for South Carolina players on NFL Sunday. And so I always continue to root for anyone that comes, out of South Carolina on the next level. Nick Barrett, I think, is going to be a potential guy that could go, 4th to 7th round. Faison didn't run the 40. I don't know if that's a good look for a running back to not run the 40. And again, maybe he's waiting till pro day as well. But overall, good numbers from the guys that did get invited. I know we have some other guys that could potentially be drafted that didn't get invited to the combine. So as always, we're rooting for these guys as they go into the next level. And you want to look at T. Gray's resume, man. Wink, wink. Joshua Dobson, 5-star corner from the state of South Carolina. I think he's going to high school in the state of North Carolina for his senior season. But all you got to do is look at T. Gray's resume, brother. Come to South Carolina for 3 years, and you're going to be a first-round pick. So, love it. T. Gray, DBU, rooting for these guys, and I'm glad they did well at the combine because it's going to go a long way.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see Jalon Kilgore as a pro. I'm super excited to see how they use him. I think that in a perfect world, he's a safety. I think that he played nickel for us mainly because we needed him as a nickel more than he needed to be a nickel. If we had a different roster, he could have played his whole career at safety. I don't think that he was playing nickel because he was unable to play safety. I think he was playing nickel for us because that allowed us to get our best lineup on the field. But that gives him a lot of versatility, and he can provide a lot of value to teams similar to what Nick has done for the Seahawks. Like Nick can play in the box. Like Nick can play like every defensive position pretty much outside of D tackle. Like I would even say that Nick is capable.
He lined up on the edge a couple times.
He can line up on the edge and rush the passer. So Nick can do it all. But Jalon ran really well. I think that could have only helped him. I hope he gets taken as high as possible. Having Cisse go to the Seahawks would be awesome. Just having 2 Gamecocks in the secondary at the same time on an elite defense would be super cool. I think Nick is going to be a great pro. I think he, those big guys that can, occupy blocks and clog up the middle are a dying breed, and they're hard to find. So, he definitely has a role at the next level. And then with Faison not running the 40, I don't know if he just is not 100% healthy, and that's why he's waiting for pro day. But what I will say is, apparently this group of running backs that have already tested are the fastest collective group of running backs in combine history. A lot of guys ran really well. Like the cat from Notre Dame, Love, he ran like a 4.36, which is what Jahmyr Gibbs ran, but he's like 25 pounds heavier than Gibbs was. So some really impressive times from the running backs this year. But, I wish Rahsul the best. I don't feel like we really gave him the opportunity to display his talents this year. So I hope everything works out for him. But just continue to put out great defensive players under Beamer, under Clayton, under T. Gray. Definitely the defensive backs have definitely been our most impressive position group under Beamer so far. And hopefully that helps us land the next one. Dobson, like as you said, he's going to finish his high school career outside of South Carolina, but I'm still counting him as an in-state prospect when it comes time to sign him.
Yeah, and I just want to shout out Nick Barrett too, because to me, Nick Barrett is what college football is all about. He was a 3-star prospect from the state of North Carolina, not highly sought after. He had a period of time where he wasn't seeing the field, and he stuck with it, and he earned his way into the rotation, played more, was able to start in his final year. and perform, and now he has a chance to go to the next level. So I just want to, shout out Nick Barrett, because he's kind of exemplary of what I think, is the good side of college football, where, a kid can find his way to a Power 4 program, not be an immediate starter, develop, work, and then find himself at the NFL Combine and with a chance to get drafted and play at the next level. So shout out to Nick Barrett, and he was also a team captain. He represented us at SEC Media Days. Just clearly, aside from what he does on the field, clearly
I had Nick
he's an
down
exemplary guy. Off the field as well.
Nick is one of the few TD spotlights that I gave out this season. So I had the opportunity to meet him in person, and he is a very nice and polite young man. I will say that. I've never really had a negative experience with any of our players. Dating back even to the Cotton Gin spotlight, but Nick was really cool. So I'm wishing him the best for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Nick Barrett. Yeah, man. That was some positive shit to end the episode after the negative spew of current state basketball and baseball. But yeah, I'm getting ready, Thomas, to switch my gears to football and just start drinking Kool-Aid and just start. I'm getting about to that point, because this shit ain't doing it for me. I know I got some literal Gamecock calories yesterday at touchdowns. I came in and had a Philly cheese, had some wings, had some fries, had a few Miller High Lifes, just the best meal you can get. But I'm not getting any Gamecock calories outside of that, my man. So I might start manufacturing them in my mind, thinking about the football season, and get that Kool-Aid brewing. But
I'm not ready to drink it yet. I'm still really emotionally damaged from last year. Well, we'll cover it. We'll cover what could appear to be Kool-Aid. I might even let Beck make some, but I'm not drinking it until we're 3-0. The season starts at 3-0. 35 points per game, minimum.
Yeah, I'm gonna start talking, because we're not gonna have much. This podcast probably won't have many more conversations around men's basketball and baseball. We'll touch on it, obviously, as those seasons progress, and for basketball, we'll be pretty wrapped up, I'm assuming, after a first round loss in the SEC tournament. But baseball, we'll see what happens. I have zero expectations, and hopefully Mainieri gets the axe. But go follow us on YouTube, or subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Subscribe also if you listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It's dark times, so I had a guy I saw on Friday night, and he said it's I feel y'all. I'm just depressed about Gamecock athletics, and I listen to y'all, and y'all are in the same boat. And it like you said, Thomas, misery does love company, and we're all reeling right now, but gonna have some hope and some Kool-Aid coming, at least on my front, because I know we haven't started talking about the next year's football season that much, but we will start with some of that talk coming up here as spring ball gets going. And one quick note on spring ball: they aren't going to have a spring game; they're going to have a spring fest, which is, it sounds pretty cool. Down at the like Colonial Life Arena, but outdoor. They're going to have concert, and then Darius Rucker's doing a concert in Colonial Life, which is it's going to be April 11th. So obviously the construction going on at Willie B. They're not going to do the spring game as they normally do. So that'll be hopefully something that fans can enjoy the Spring Fest for Gamecock football. I think like some of the team's going to be out there, autograph signings, pictures, music, beer, food, the whole nine. So that should be fun. But we'll talk more football soon because that's what's there to talk about when it comes to current state. But thank you everyone for listening. We appreciate you. Be with us in misery and soon be with us in joy as we embark on the redemption tour that is the 2026 football season. See y'all later. Go Cox.
Go Cox.